Not too fast, not too fast now. That's right. Now keep it up, I'll give you some direction. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. Keep it up. Keep 1, keep it up. Group 2. Group 3 coming up. Group 3. Ha, 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 ha. Listen to yourself. Keep it up. And stop. Nice. Awesome. Welcome to my world. I am a drummer and a drum circle facilitator. We do a couple of things. One is we carry around a lot of drums. This is not a lot. The other is when we teach drumming, when we facilitate, we don't teach drumming. We use drums to make people better. Sure, drumming is a lot of fun. It's actually a great form of recreation, which comes from the Latin word recreationem, meaning to recover from illness. So in this way, drumming is a cure. You might then say to yourself, a cure for what exactly? Let's go back. In 1950, Babatunde Olatunji came from Nigeria to Morehouse College to study medicine. But when he saw the extent of ignorance about Africa, he switched his life calling to drumming. After all, if W.E. Du Bois' talented 10th didn't know what was going on, what was the rest of America thinking? So he started the community drumming movement in America, and he recorded the first 2 albums of African drumming in this country. What I'd like to do is share some personal stories to help illustrate the benefits of drumming. First, toddler drumming. In the early 2000s, I inherited toddler drumming from Richie Goldstein at Spontaneous Celebrations here in JP. I ran it for 8 years, every Saturday. To do that successfully, I had to study some things that might surprise you. Early childhood education, alternative learning styles, songs in 4 languages, English, Spanish, Portuguese, and Yoruba, a Nigerian language. I studied puppetry. I studied fables, nursery rhymes, folk tales. I even studied Mr. Rogers. I didn't watch him as a kid. So I took instruments, some of my favorite instruments, and gave them personalities. Now, this is a guiro. This is a scraper that's Native American of origin, but you find it in a lot of places, especially the Caribbean. It's also Josephine. Hello, darlings. Would you like to meet my children? Well, Josephine, her children, and I showed the little kids how to play with feeling and to play a rhythm that went with everything. Slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick. But not everything was rhythmical. Sometimes we'd use percussion in more esoteric ways and tell stories. It's story time, boys and girls. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there was an angry, angry girl. A shy, timid boy. A rabbit with his own drum. Well, the kids sometimes saw themselves in these stories, and we had a lot of adventures. Occasionally got very exciting. But then, on the flip side, we turn it around, and using the Native American-inspired buffalo drum, combined with the voice, we do some guided imagery. This led to altered states of mind. Not just good for toddlers, right? So toddler drumming was fun. It was educational, it was cultural, it was social skill building. And what's not to like about making music on a Saturday morning with your family and community? I work a lot with teenagers. I work with Black and Latino teenagers, especially at Hyde Square Task Force, a youth-oriented organization here in Jamaica Plain that uses culture and the arts to help build the youth up and also rebuild the community. And my job is to teach Afro-Latin drumming and to teach community drum circles to facilitate the community drumming together. The kids and I focus on learning the Afro-Latin drumming piece to perform. And I work not only on the content, but on the process, the habits of mind. I want them to get transferable skills that they can take into the world. Things like seeking accuracy, drawing upon all your senses to get the information you need, modulating your impulses, very good for teenagers, right? And perseverance, sticking with it when things get tough. Right now we perform 4 rhythms right in a row, something like the Temptations' greatest hits. And they start with samba reggae from Brazil. And then we go to from merengue from Dominican Republic. Boom. Then we go to bomba from Puerto Rico. Bomba. And we ended up with conga de comparsa, the carnival music from Cuba. It's a dynamic performance they're doing. It was a challenge to learn the instrument, the rhythm, the order, to learn about the history, which is important for them to know, and to be able to do the public presentations as a team, support each other before and after the performance. So they got a lot of positive feedback from the community. They are seen as a positive subculture, and they build their self-esteem and awareness of their own culture. They also attract economic support to the community, so it's a win-win. Well, for thousands of years, people have been using drums and rhythm to heal. Currently, there's a lot of scientific evidence that proves the benefits of drumming for health reasons. There are 2 major claims for therapeutic drumming. One is that it alters the way the brain processes information. 2 is that it boosts your immune system. Now, you can imagine something that's fun to do. It's making music. You do it in community, and you have to leave the past behind, focus on the present, and don't worry about the future. That's going to boost your immune system. It's going to relieve stress and tension and anxiety. The science of it is that it activates the killer T cells, the white blood cells that the body generates to fight virus and disease, documented by Dr. Barry Bittman of Health Rhythms. The other things about the brain is we work on brain waves. Most of us live more in a beta world. We live in a beta brain world where we're working fast, we're active, we're getting things done, we're multitasking. But the downside is that it makes us susceptible to feelings of anger, fear, and worry. We need balance, and we seek it. That comes with the alpha, the next lower brain wave state, a little slower. It is associated with feelings of calm, tranquility, a positive state of mind, which opens you up to more intuitive knowing, more mind-body integration. Drumming doubles the presence of the alpha brainwaves, documented by Dr. Barry Quinn. More about the brain is that we have those 2 hemispheres, which everybody knows, the logical left, the creative right, and when they're pulsating harmoniously through drumming and being exposed to drums as well as playing, the thinking and the feeling is more integrated, so your thinking is improved and therefore your behavior. We look further into the brain and we find that there's synchronization going on when you're at an event where there's drumming, there is movement to the drumming, and there's important and relevant symbolism present. This happens with sacred ceremonies and religious events. And what that does is it takes the information that's processed in the lower part of the brain that's nonverbal, and it integrates it up into the frontal lobe, where you're doing your thinking and where your personality is also developed. And this solidifies your sense of certainty. It strengthens that sense, and it also deepens your understanding about what is true for you. So you could see that the ancients, the shamans, and the other ancient healers knew this thousands of years ago. Now we have evidence to back it up. Something that permeates the entire brain is powerful. And I'm talking about our sense of hearing, sight, smell, movement, speech. Well, they're all connected by the firing of neurons. And these neurons fire usually in rhythm. They're like rhythmic cues for thought and action, but they can be broken and even destroyed by disease, by trauma, by illness. And drumming and the sound of drumming and the continuous involvement with rhythm and drumming by a skilled leader can repair these connections. So people have suffered from stroke particularly, or Parkinson's disease, these debilitating neurotic illnesses, or neurological illnesses, benefit greatly when their treatment involves rhythm and drumming. But this doesn't happen on its own. As I said, you need skilled leadership. So leaders in drumming come in three basic forms. You may be one or all of them at any different time. They are the dictator, tells you what to do. The teacher shows you the right way. Then the facilitator, that's the best. That's what you want. That's where the entrainment happens. That's where the magic is. Olatunji had a dream. A drum in every American household. I say yes, a drum in every household. And places in every community where there's skilled rhythm facilitation going on to heal ourselves and the people around us. Thank you.